Yes, all right. Okay, so I would say that things have gone rather smoothly over the past year for Finland, being member now for a year. We've been lucky. But I think what we really need to think now is how does Finland profile itself as a NATO member next year and in the years to come? And I would have 4 points, actually. I think that's rather fashionable as well in these days. So first of all, I think it comes with the realization that our state identity is in change currently. We are a small nation, if you compare us in relative terms to other European nations. But then on the other hand, if we think of the military power that we have in Finland, we are also a medium-sized state. So I would say that NATO membership has actually, in a way, indirectly increased our status in European politics. But we are unique as well because we are a frontline state, like many of the other eastern flank countries, such as the Baltic countries and Poland, but at the same time, we're a Nordic country. So I wouldn't really say that we are a traditional frontline state, but we are somewhere in the middle, and the crossroads of being Nordic, and this tangles up with the idea of Nordic values as well, that was mentioned in the previous comments. This time has played us really safe, I would say, and comfortable, so that our concept of national defense has become something that everyone is looking at, and we should be really proud of, including the concept of comprehensive security. But I think this is a time of not being complacent as well. So we should really get out of our comfort zone and learn to talk the alliance language as well. This means expanding our model of conventional deterrence to nuclear deterrence issues as well. So my view is probably a little bit more hard security than the previous two speakers. Having said that, it doesn't mean that we couldn't incorporate the wider security issues in our policy in the future. But how I see it now, and we also had a report from UPI FIA that just came out a few months ago about Finland's potential role in nuclear deterrence, is that we really have to study these options carefully. I mean, I think the lowest option would be that we just kind of participate in NATO's nuclear policy planning groups and different working groups. But then we have other options to consider as well, whether we want to participate in NATO's nuclear exercises. Maybe we want to even take some part in conventional support mechanisms when it comes to different nuclear missions. And obviously the last and the most ambitious plan in terms of deterrence would be to actually engage in NATO's nuclear sharing. This is not probably something that we will look into at the moment, but these are the three options that we laid out. But the third point I'd like to make, I think when it comes to our membership in the alliance, I think we have to keep sustainability in mind. And I think in that way, it goes with the environmental issues, but also other things as well. And first thing is that I think we shouldn't be too hasty. Whatever we decide now, there should be tangible, sustainable decisions that will carry on for decades. So when we think of our nuclear stance and policy, for instance, I think we should take our time and our baby steps in that. Second thing is that we should be really fundamentally relying on our core values of foreign and security policy also as a NATO member. So that means respecting human rights, rule of law, equality, all these things that we've done in the past as well, and we shouldn't compromise these values. Thirdly, I think it requires assets. It's not going to be cheap. So I think we have to be ready to mentally prepare to commit in defense-related matters in the future. I'm not giving any numbers here, but 2% of GDP on defense is basically a baseline, and I think we might be looking to figures that are much higher. And I think we should also critically ponder and think the solutions that we provide, meaning that we relied heavily on our national conscription and reserve-based system in the past, and I think we should also think whether we'll be able to deliver and meet the requirements from the alliance with this reserve-based system as it is currently. And the last point I'd like to make is that I think we should study closely our partners and allies. We should learn to understand them, their kind of philosophy, where they're coming from. In the 2010s, we expanded this network of different defense cooperation formats, bilaterally, trilaterally, and minilaterally, with many countries in Europe and together with the United States. And I think now it's time to move on to the next step, not to think of these cooperation formats only per se as cooperation formats, but as part of deeper defense integration within the alliance.